Today we're going to start lying on our backs on the mat. So come down, get comfortable. If your low back feels great, you can let the legs extend all the way out, heels to the corner, let the feet relax open wide. Or if your back needs a little extra support, a rolled blanket. If you have a bolster or pillows, you can place that behind your knees. Otherwise, if you don't have those things, big bend in the knees, feet out to the edges of the mat, and then knees resting against one another. And then if your shoulders are comfortable, hands out somewhere out from the sides of your hips, palms rolling up. And then once you find that place, go ahead and close your eyes. Check in. How are you feeling at this moment? Is your body wanting to fidget, readjust? Or is it easy to let everything settle, be still, and rest? What's going on in the mind? Are the thoughts able to focus, to slow down a little bit? Or are thoughts jumping around from this thing to that, to-do lists, future, projecting, thinking about the past? Or can you let your mind focus on here and now for this next 30 minutes or so? Start focusing on the sensation of your breath, letting that bring you into the present space. As you inhale, feel your belly, maybe your ribs, your chest expand. And as you exhale, feel the torso. It just melts back and in towards your spine, back in towards the earth. If it's comfortable breathing in and out through just your nose, you can begin to do so, but at any point, it feels best to breathe. Otherwise, do whatever your body needs. This practice isn't about doing exactly what I say. It's not about looking a certain way. It's about being present and aware of yourself, of your body. A few more breaths here. We often become disconnected from what our body is trying to communicate with us, and our practice is often just kind of opening up those lines of communication between body and mind. Let the mind become just still enough or open enough that it can listen to what the body is asking for. Maybe one more deep breath in. To exhale, feel everything melting back and down. And slowly start to bend your knees, start to hug those in towards your chest. Maybe rock those side to side a few times, or give that just a really nice squeeze in, releasing any tension from the muscles of your back, your hips. And then from here, we will release those feet back down to the mat, hip distance apart, palms down alongside the hips. We're just going to move through a bridge flow. So starting with the tuck of our tailbone. So back relaxed onto the floor initially, and then feel that lift, that curve in your low back. We're going to take that curve out. So engage the muscles of the core slightly, press into the feet slightly, roll that lower back flat and firm into the mat. And then keeping that tuck, that engagement, start pressing into your feet, rolling and lifting your hips up towards the sky. As you exhale, slowly with control, roll all the way back down. We're going to continue this flow a few times with your breath. So as you inhale, again, lift. As you exhale, release. If you feel any discomfort in your knees, sometimes we just need to come down, kind of straighten and bend the legs a few times, just kind of get things back in place. Or it might be the way that you have your toes turned. We want those in line with hips, heels right behind the glutes. So hips, knees, and toes all in one straight line. Maybe one more flow here. And as you exhale, we'll hug those knees back into the chest. Again, rock that side to side. From here, we'll see if a gentle spinal twist feels like a good option. So we'll come back to neutral, extend the arms either straight out into a T, or you can also bend the elbows into cactus arms. Knees come up towards the chest. And then we're going to see if crossing the left knee over the right feels like a good option. And then rocking those knees over towards that right side. See if they can comfortably come down to the mat. If that feels like too much of a twist, we can first uncross the knees or place some sort of support underneath those shins and knees. If that feels good, let your chin roll open towards that left shoulder. We're just going to pause and breathe here for a few moments. Because this is early on, it may be just a little too much of a twist. So again, uncross the knees if that feels best. Still slow, relaxed breaths. And then with your next inhale, we will unwind the spine, uncross those knees, and then go ahead and switch sides, right knee over the left. Deep breath in as you exhale. Knees lowering towards the left side. Again, arms out into a T or cactus arms. Maybe chin over towards the right shoulder. Make any modifications, any adjustments. There should never be pain or discomfort in our practice. If you're comfortable, focus on relaxing with those exhales. We want that twist to be enjoyable, so we're not fighting into it, we're not forcing ourselves into it. On your next inhale, we will unwind the spine, uncross those knees, hug those in, rock that around. And we're just going to take a full body pencil stretch, extend back down through the legs, extend through the fingers, reaching through fingers and toes as long as you can possibly get. And then from there, we're going to rock ourselves over to our side. Go ahead and bring yourself all the way up and feet spinning around into child's pose. So sit the hips back to or towards the heels, draping that torso over the tops of the thighs or maybe in between today. Let the forehead find a place to rest, whether that's all the way to the mat today or maybe stacked on top of fists or maybe on a support. If forehead's comfortable to the mat, let those arms really extend out long, shoulder distance apart with the hands. And then from here, we're going to inhale, come up to tabletop. We're going to flow through our cat and cow pose. So as you inhale, navel's going to dip down. We're going to compress the spine, squeeze the shoulders, the tailbone slightly towards each other. Exhale, rounding that back. Chin towards the chest, tailbone tucks. And we're going to continue to flow there a few times. Inhales, maybe expanding that space, that room to breathe. Exhale, stretching out all of those muscles of the back. And again, modify however you need to. If it's too much arching for the back today, maybe the low back is not feeling the best. Maybe we only move the chest, the shoulders on the inhales, but the rounds hopefully feel good no matter what. Taking one more flow there. And then we're going to see if puppy dog feels like a good option. If for any reason it does not, just come right back here or all the way back to child's pose. So what we're going to do is walk the hands forward on the mat. Keep the hips stacked right above those knees. And we're going to keep palms pressing into the mat at all times. We want the weight on the palms, strength of the arms. Start lowering your chest towards the mat. So big compression of the spine, big back arch. If it's comfortable, let your forehead come down to gently rest. Again, we're not dumping the weight onto the head. That would be dangerous for the neck. We are keeping the weight on the palms. You can even press the forearms down if that feels good as well. And then seeing if you can relax everywhere except for maybe that weight into the palms. Maybe the shoulders can slide a little further back, down and up towards that. That was a little confusing, down and up, but back towards the hips, since the hips are up in the air right now. Maybe one more breath if you're feeling good. Again, if you're not, just make your way back out early. And then very slowly take your time. Use the muscles of the arms, use the muscles of the core to press yourself back up and all the way back to that child's pose. Again, forehead to a place to rest. If it is to the mat, maybe hands feel good coming forward, or maybe they want to come back alongside the feet. Maybe it's just those stacked fists under the forehead. Maybe 2 more full breaths here. And then with an inhale, we're going to extend those arms out nice and long. Make our way up to downward facing dog. Downward facing dog, we're going to take a few moments to just kind of pedal out those feet. Maybe rock that side to side a little bit. And then from there, we're going to go ahead and release back down to child's pose. From here, we're going to inhale, come forward to modified plank. So now shifting knees beyond those, or hips beyond those knees, hands above the shoulders, palms spreading out wide right underneath those shoulders, or you can make a fist for more support for your wrist. And engaging the muscles of the core here. So we're just going to pause and breathe here. I want you to squeeze the shoulders away from the ears. So back towards those hips, towards those toes. Feel the muscles of the back engage. Definitely feel the muscles of the core engage and tuck that tailbone slightly, just like we did preparing for bridge pose. So all of the muscles of the core engaging, even intercostal muscles, muscles between the ribs, holding everything tightly in place. But at the same time, still breathing deep. It's a little more challenging when the core is engaged. And then exhale, go ahead and release all the way down to the mat. Let your cheek come down to rest. Let hands come back alongside the hips. Pausing and resting and breathing there. So let the fronts of your shoulders get heavy. Let the arms get heavy. Relaxing the muscles of the head, the neck, however you need to, if turning your head to the side isn't a good option. One more full breath like this. And then we're going to see if locust feels like a good option. We're going to start with that tuck in the tailbone, that flattening of the lower back and engaging of the lower core. Untwist the head, the neck. We can start by just inhaling up the chest, the shoulders, the head. If it feels good, if your back is feeling supported today, we'll extend, lift the arms, reaching fingertips back towards that back wall or just to the back of the mat. Inhale, lifting legs up, reaching back through those toes. So everything is lifting up towards the sky and then extending as far back as it can go. We can squeeze the shoulder blades in towards each other across the upper back. One more deep breath in. Exhale, slowly melt that back down, opposite cheek down to the mat. We'll pause, resting and breathing here for a few moments, a few breaths. With your next inhale, we will place those hands back underneath the shoulders. Gently press yourself back up through that modified plank. Pause there for just a moment. Every muscle in the core engaged. And then slowly press that back to child's pose. Releasing, breathing, relaxing here. So arms wherever they're most comfortable for the back, the neck, the head. And then we are actually going to go ahead and inhale, come up to kneeling. we're going to come into a kneeling camel. So feel free to find extra cushion for your knees if that feels best. Toes can tuck under, so heels lifted high, ankles from the mat, or if it feels better, untuck those toes, straighten out those feet, press the ankles, the toenails all the way down into the mat, so strong, firm to the legs. If toes are tucked, we are also pressing down into those toes. And then knees either hip distance apart, or we can slide the inner knee all the way into touch. So whatever feels best to you. And then we're going to make fists with the hands, and we are going to nestle those right into those bones in the smaller back. So almost just above that tailbone there. We're going to start hugging the elbows in. If that already feels intense, you can just stay right there. See if you're able to, if there's that range of movement in your spine, and if you're able to open up the muscles of your chest, to squeeze the elbows in a little closer, the shoulder blades in a little bit closer, and you're going to feel the chest lift. Upper back definitely engage. You're going to feel the rib cage lift up a little bit higher. Keep your chin slightly tucked towards your chest, so we don't want to just drop the weight of the head back, exposing all of the muscles of the throat. We're going to start to maybe arch that back a little bit more. Use the strength of the muscles of your core, so that tuck of your tailbone, lower abdominals, strength of your arms to help support that back. We want this arch in our upper back and possibly our middle back, but not our lower back. If it's too much, as always, just straighten up, come back down to child's pose. Maybe one more deep breath in. Feel that stretch, that opening across the chest. Exhale it out, and then as you inhale, start straightening the spine gently back up. Exhale, we're going to melt back to child's pose one more time. So go ahead and release that down, pausing and breathing there again. If forehead is comfortable resting to the mat, it might feel better at this time to bring hands back alongside the feet, or again, you can reach those forward wherever feels best to you. A few breaths there. Now feel how your back is rounding. It's releasing that compression, that arching of the upper back. One more deep breath in. Exhale. We're going to go ahead and release that breath out, and then we're going to inhale and roll ourselves up to seated on the mat. Once you're seated, we'll go ahead and extend the legs all the way out in front of us. We'll keep the right leg extended out. We're going to bend the left knee, and then we can either bring it to the inside of the right thigh, or if it feels good, we're going to pick it up, cross it to the outside of the right thigh. We're going to use that left leg to be our anchor, reminder to keep our spine nice and long. So straighten up, reach up through the crown of your head, let your chest lift just slightly. And as you exhale, start very consciously twisting towards the left. So don't rush into that twist. Move very slowly. Feel again those muscles of the core engage. The navel's going to twist around towards the left hip. It's going to wind up into the lower ribs, middle ribs, chest, shoulders. Maybe eventually into the cervical spine, bringing chin back towards that left shoulder. And we still should be able to maintain our deep breath there, although it becomes more challenging. These are abbreviated practices, so we're just going to be here maybe one more breath. As you exhale slowly again with as much awareness as you can find, unwinding the spine. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and actually pick up that left foot. So we're going to wrap the hands, if comfortable, around the blade of that left foot, keeping the flex in the foot. So not pointing the toes, but pulling the toes back. If that's not comfortable, you can always place a strap or like a dish towel around the foot, or a stretchy t-shirt. And then we're going to lift the foot up, maybe straight across from the shoulders, across from the chest if that feels good. Being very mindful of that left knee. If it feels good, start squeezing that foot in slightly towards that upper right side of your chest. As you do this, the goal is not for it to reach the right side of the chest or the right shoulder. So don't compromise your spine. This is not a cat pose. Don't let your back fully round here. Your shoulders might kind of hug forward a little bit. That is okay. Try to keep the rest of your spine as straight as possible. We're trying to stretch and release the outer left hip, the left glutes there. Maybe one more deep breath in. If you're feeling good, maybe squeeze a little bit deeper. Exhale, release that away. Go ahead and extend that leg out alongside the right. And then we will bend the right knee, bring that foot in either to the inside of the left thigh, or again, if it's comfortable, crossing over to the outside of that left thigh. Upper right leg, knee pointing up is a reminder to straighten that spine. And as you exhale, again, mindfulness as you twist very slowly to the right. Navel, upper abdomen, lower ribs, upper ribs, chest, shoulders, maybe eventually that chin back over the right shoulder. Pausing and breathing in that twist. Again, breath becomes more challenging, but continue to find those deep breaths. If you're unable to, unwind slightly or come all of the way out of that twist. Maybe one more deep breath in. As you exhale, we will slowly unwind the spine. Once you make your way all the way back out, we will wrap those hands, or again, maybe it's a t-shirt towel around that blade of that right foot, the edge of the right foot. Bring that foot up across from your chest if it's comfortable, flexing that foot. And then again, maybe start squeezing that in slightly towards that left shoulder, left side of your chest. Deep breaths into that right hip, right glute. And then one more deep breath in. Exhale, go ahead and release that down. Go ahead and extend it back out alongside the left. We're going to there bring both feet into touch, the inner feet, the big toes, heels. Straighten the spine. Inhale, sweep and reach your arms all the way up towards the sky. As you exhale, start folding into your forward fold. We'll ease into that forward fold. And again, with these shorter podcast classes, we will just be here for a few moments. As you inhale, I want you to flatten the spine. So extend through the crown of your head a little bit taller. Exhale. Let yourself maybe round the back slightly, working your head or maybe even your chest a little closer to those legs. As you inhale, straighten. You might come all the way back up if the hamstrings are really tight, or maybe you just come up at a diagonal. Exhale, relaxing it back forward. Let your torso get heavy if you can. One more time. Deep breath in. As you exhale, see if you can let the torso get heavy. Let the head hang. Maybe it's just chin towards the chest, or maybe it's forehead towards those legs. Can the arms, the shoulders relax, gently rounding forward. Let gravity stretch out those muscles of your back. If this doesn't feel good, as always, come back out early. You can just sit back up tall. Maybe one more breath here. And then with an inhale, we'll straighten the spine all the way back up. And I'm going to have you make your way onto your back from there. So take your time. Make your way down however you need to. Once you come down, feel free to hug the knees into your chest, to rock it side to side again. And then from here, we're going to bring knees back up towards the chest, and we're going to cross the left knee over the right again, like we did in our supine spinal twist earlier. We're not moving into our twist. This time we're going to cup the hands over the kneecaps. And if that's already challenging for you, you can stay there, just bringing knees kind of up towards you. If it feels okay, we're going to slide the hands down the outer edges of our shins. So down towards our feet, stopping wherever feels like the best stretch to you. So we're moving into supine cow face in our legs here. So we're separating the feet out a little wider, maybe even out, hovering above our ribs, the sides of our ribs here. we should be feeling a stretch in the outer hips, maybe in those upper gluteus muscles, not the maximus. If for any reason it doesn't feel good, just have knees crossed, bring those towards your chest. Deep breaths here. Encouraging the muscles to relax and let go. One more deep breath in. As you exhale, you can just kind of take the hands away. Feel free to uncross knees, squeeze it in, rock it around. And then when you're ready, we will reverse, cross the right knee over the left. Again, hands cup over the knees. They can stay there if that's where you're at today. Or start sliding the hands further down the legs towards the feet. They might just stop on shins. They might stop on ankles. And then kind of squeezing those feet out, hovering them above the ribs. And that doesn't mean they're close to the ribs. Just that's about the distance apart we're trying to bring them. Feeling that stretch in the outer hips. Maybe one more deep breath. Full and relaxed. And then we will slowly bring those hands away, uncross the knees, hug those in. We're moving into supine butterfly pose, our last pose before relaxation. So if there's a different pose you want to get in your practice, take it now. Otherwise, bending the knees, feet to the mat, open those knees wide and soles of feet sliding into touch. Seeing if you can let go completely that weight of the legs. But if your low back is tight, your hips or your pelvis are tight, that may be a tall order. So at any point, knees can come back up early, or even a block or a little bit of support underneath the feet that can lift the feet slightly, less pull on the low back. Hands, arms, wherever they naturally feel best, moving to rest. And we'll be here for just a few breaths. See if you can let gravity do the work. And as you're lying here, I want you to check in with the muscles of your face and your jaw. Is there any clenching going on there? Sometimes we don't even notice that we've been holding tension there. Anytime we move into a stressful situation where the body prepares for fight or flight, whether we realize it or not, we do this a lot as human beings. Our body starts to prepare, the jaw starts to get tight. So see if you can relax the muscles of your face, your jaw. If you need to stretch out the face wide, the mouth open wide, stretch out the tongue or wiggle it around, go ahead and do so. Let the body know it's safe. It can let that go for relaxation. And then slowly we will bring those knees back up towards each other. Feel free to hug the knees one last time. And then coming down for relaxation. So if your back does not feel great, again, put some support behind the knees or keep knees very bent. Feet to the edges, knees against one another, inner knees. Otherwise, extend those legs all the way out. Heels out to the corners of the mat. Let the feet just relax out wide. Hands, arms typically out alongside the body, a little ways out. Palms rolling up, but again, place those however feels best to you. And if you're using an eye pillow, now is a good time to place that over your eyes. I relax my feet and ankles. My feet and ankles are relaxed. I relax my shins, calves, and knees. My shins, calves, and knees are completely relaxed. I relax my thighs and hamstrings. My thighs and hamstrings are completely relaxed. I relax my hips and pelvis. My hips and pelvis are completely relaxed. I relax my hands and wrists. My hands and wrists are completely relaxed. I relax my forearms, elbows, and upper arms. My forearms, elbows, and upper arms are completely relaxed. I relax my upper back, middle back, and lower back. My upper, middle, and lower back are completely relaxed. I relax through my abdomen and ribs. My abdomen and ribs are completely relaxed. I relax through my chest and shoulders. My chest and shoulders are completely relaxed. I relax my neck, face, and jaw. My neck, face, and jaw are completely relaxed. I allow my entire body to fully relax. My entire body is fully and completely relaxed. Slowly start to bring my awareness back in, starting with awareness of the sensation of breath. Notice a few cycles of breath as it travels in and releases back out continuously. And then let awareness fall into the center of your palms or the space between your fingers. Notice any sensations or vibrations there. And then eventually start to bring in your own little movements. Maybe that's little wiggles or stretches that may eventually become a full body pencil stretch once again. Or maybe it's one last hug of those knees into your chest to release any lingering tension in the low back, the hips. Take your time. Eventually, when that feels complete, you can rock yourself over to your right side, pausing and resting there for a few moments, a few breaths. Maybe use that right bicep as a pillow for the head, the neck. Take your time, and once that feels complete, you can start to press yourself back up to whatever seated position feels most comfortable today. Once you find that position, let the hands, the arms find a place to settle and rest for a moment. Check in with the hips. How are they feeling? How are the muscles of the back feeling? Are the shoulders able to just relax down the spine effortlessly? Is the spine long but very relaxed? Again, effortless. And how are you feeling mentally, emotionally? We will slowly bring our hands now palm to palm at the center of the chest to our prayer position. Thank you so much for joining me. It is my honor to teach you. Namaste. Check out my website, yogawithaliciav.org. Namaste.